Good evening, folks, and happy month of June. We're coming up into the heart of the summer movie season, but I got a smaller movie for you this week to review for Every Movie Has a Lesson. My website is a movie blog of movie reviews written from a teacher's point of view, the idea that every movie can teach a lesson, and I kind of focus on life lessons that everyone can learn from a movie, whether it's serious or farcical. Today, our new movie classroom review is for Chef. Chef is a little independent movie compared to most of these other summer blockbusters that are going through the month of May and June. It's written, directed, and starring Jon Favreau. If you don't know who Jon Favreau is, he is the common running man of Vince Vaughn from Swingers. He's been a prolific film director over the years, whether it's Zathura, Elf, the Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and even Cowboys and Aliens. But this is definitely a return to form of him with a smaller picture. He stars as a celebrity chef. Let me get my mess up out of the way here. Thank you. He kind of stars as a somewhat celebrity chef out in L.A. And with Miami roots, he's divorced from his ex-wife, played by Sofia Vergara. He has a young son that's he's distant to because he works too much. The conflict here is that he ends up clashing with a prominent food blogger and also his boss at the restaurant, which ends up getting him canned. By doing so, he kind of heads out to Miami at kind of the urge of his ex-wife to kind of go back to his roots where he started as a chef and kind of learn get back kind of what made him so passionate about what he does as a chef, because he's kind of that ultimate guy where this is more of an art and a meaningful thing for him, not just food he makes for the sake of review. He takes everything very personally, and that's kind of a good thing. It's a fun main character for Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau a lot of times plays the supporting character. It's nice to see him get a nice meaty lead role here. It's definitely a food movie. By going back to Miami, he kind of discovers his roots. He decides to kind of put an investment into a food truck, and decides to sell Cubano sandwiches, whether it's the mojo pork recipe and all that. Being a food movie, this is definitely a fun movie visually and audioly. Audioly, I don't think is even a word, but we'll go with it. Where the idea of all the different things you can see and do with food on screen are really amped up here. The editors, the sound people, the cinematography, even Jon Favreau kind of learning his chops in the kitchen, I should say. It's really sharp how this movie brings that to life. It is definitely a fun date movie. Don't go into this movie hungry. It's easily probably the most crowd-pleasing movie I've seen so far this summer. I mean, too many of these blockbusters kind of have their doom and gloom element to it, whether it's Spider-Man or even a little bit of X-Men, which is very heavy, and even Godzilla, which takes itself very seriously. This is a light, easy, crowd-pleasing movie. Arguably one of the best movies I've seen this year. It's one that I easily recommend to anybody who asks me, hey Don, I see all these blockbusters, but what's a good movie that's out there right now? And I keep telling people, Chef. It's without a doubt one of the better movies I've seen this year. I might have kind of undersold it with my review, but I gave it a 4. Let me get my writing here. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I gave it a 4 out of 5 because it does kind of have its predictable tendencies. It is a little, it is very convenient and easy to please. Jon Favreau definitely brings his friends along. He has Robert Downey Jr. in a small role, Scarlett Johansson in a small role, Dustin Hoffman shows up here. He definitely kind of brings his friends along, but it's a neat parallel because it's kind of almost autobiographical how Favreau kind of got to the heights of doing big-time stuff that's away from where he had his roots as a filmmaker, kind of bombed out with Cowboys and Aliens 2 years ago, and this is kind of a chance to hit for him, even as a filmmaker and writer, to go back and do a smaller movie, much like the more smaller setting of what the character's going on with here in Chef. Like I said, easy, fun, great movie. My wife loved it. I loved it. It's a nice, easy picture. I think if you're looking for something in the summer box office that's classic counter-programming, it's definitely running more of the limited release, but I hope word of mouth gets this thing in a few more screens, but it's definitely worth your time. One of the most enjoyable movies I've seen in years. Let me hop over to the lessons. Alright, lesson 1, and let's pop a little orange for some of the fun colors that are in this movie, because like I said, the food just jumps off the screen. Alright, the first lesson's a little bit of a long one here, so give me a minute here. This talks about the enormous, and I might abbreviate here, pluses and minuses of social media. Boy, I'm glad I abbreviated it because I think I'd run out of space. Anyway, in a very modern sense of the way, this movie does a very unique job using social media to kind of push the conflict, drive this story, be kind of a not just a setting, but almost even an extra character in this movie. Twitter plays a heavy role in terms of the criticism, the social following, the viral marketing, the entrepreneurship that kind of shows off in this movie. Definitely, this isn't some old Italian cooking kind of movie. This, in that kind of way, it definitely kind of speaks to the now and how when little things happen, it has very quick ramifications thanks to there being a camera and a phone and some kind of way of communicating everywhere. So in one way there's the pluses because some of that marketing and social following is a good thing. Sometimes when it's bad news, though, it's definitely a big minus, and we see those peaks and valleys to a great degree in this film. Lesson number 2 is, and I actually have 5 lessons today, so I'll try to keep it snappy here because normally I do 3. Lesson number 2 is the freedom of creative control, especially for our chef character here, his name is Carl Casper, played by Favreau. He wants to cook and do things his way. I mean, he has established himself to be a successful chef at a LA restaurant, and he has kind of the greatest hits that his owner, played by Dustin Hoffman, expects, but when the food critic comes along to kind of show off for the restaurant, he would like to really go off the reservation and do something really creative and really unique, because that's his passion, that's his artistry in what he does. I mean, he takes it, like I said, that seriously, and there's definitely is that tug of war here in this movie between doing what you're kind of told to do and what you're good at, or kind of going off and doing something a little different for the sake of creativity. A lot of that comes out, I think, in cooking anywhere. I think a lot of us, we hear the term "too many cooks in the kitchen." There's kind of a way that can be played in this movie, but that's one of the lessons that definitely shines through with Chef. Alright, lesson 3 is the farcical one. It's been a while since I've had a farcical one, probably since Godzilla and the whole idea of being able to creep up on things even though you're the size of skyscrapers. But lesson number 3 is the many uses of cornstarch in and out of the kitchen. All I have to say here is it doesn't just thicken gravy, and you will see. Very quick lesson, nice comedic moment. The movie has, despite a very R rating for language, a lot of comedy. Easy, fun movie, a lot of laughs, a lot of good times. But with this lesson, you'll just have to see. Lesson number 4. And as always, my handwriting does not improve from video to video. But lesson 4 is the harsh and personal side of criticism. I guess you can say here's a film critic and a film blogger criticizing and talking about a movie and doing things in a very, I don't consider myself a very trolling, snarky guy compared to other people. I try to keep it easy, real, and positive, being the teacher that I am. But we definitely see, because it's kind of the start of the conflict in this movie, how the harsh and more personal side that some critics put on things can kind of strike a nerve and strike a chord with the person who you're calling out. I guess I had a little fun with this back when I reviewed, or the taste of this, I should say, back when I reviewed Delivery Man with Vince Vaughn back last November. I actually had Vince Vaughn's stunt coordinator from the film and personal stunt double email me about how scathing my review was for Delivery Man, which I thought was absolutely terrible. I kind of defended it, and he kind of took me more as a troll than anything, but I guess when you put your heart and effort into things, despite, the things you see with maybe Adam Sandler calling his movies paid vacations, there is a place where I guess you have to kind of back up your words, but at the same time understand that your words still mean something, that your words still hurt, especially when these people take things as passionately as they do. Okay, the last lesson, and thanks for hanging around for this whole thing here. Lesson number 5 is the finer, and this is where the heart of the movie is coming in here a little bit, the finer definition of father-son quality time. It's very appropriate that we're coming up on Father's Day here, because Chef, when you get away from the kitchen and you get away from kind of the personal selfish things that you see a Carl Casper character do. This is a father-son movie. This is not just about him kind of getting his mojo or his moho back in terms of cooking. It's about reconnecting with his son. His son kind of comes with him to Miami, hangs around in this food truck while they kind of take a road trip movie for the third act, where they kind of take their act on the road. They have a great chance to bond, and it's what you see here is that quality time isn't just going out and doing things while together. It's about doing things actually together. Don't just kind of, it definitely speaks to us, not just the single parents, but even just regular parents, where, you can go to a movie or a show or a trip or a roller coaster ride or anything like that, but doing things with your kids and showing them things, one-on-one together, figuring things out, talking with them, that's the real effort that comes up in terms of quality time. And I'll go ahead and put quality time right in quotes, because that's what we're talking about here. That's kind of the nice heartfelt edge that comes in this movie that goes along with the food part. Like I said, fantastic film, really approachable, real good appeal, fun, funny, interesting, inspiring. I know tonight, even at my own home tonight here, 2 weeks later after seeing the movie, I tried to make mojo pork chops tonight just to kind of put a little Cuban flavor in my food. So it's definitely a place where you can have fun. If you get a chance, folks, go see Chef. It's a winner. As always, folks, you can catch all of my work on www. I guess we don't need to say the W anymore. Every movie has a lesson. .com. That's where I cook. That's where I put all my reviews. That's where these video classroom reviews end up. That's where I keep all my editorials and all that. It's kind of my home base. I do get published on other places, but that's kind of where I call home. Check out my website sometime. Enjoy the summer movie season, and soon enjoy your Father's Day weekend.